Well, good morning, everybody. Another week here on United People's TV. Let's roll the sleeves up because it's going to be an interesting one. Interesting might be one way to describe it. It's going to be spicy in the chat this morning. I'm going to run through everything that's being reported on Ruben Amorim. You've got Simon Stone from the BBC saying that Ruben Amorim is being backed. You've got the same thing being reported from Chris Wheeler in the Daily Mail. I'm going to run through Andy Mitten's comments. We're also going to cover Wayne Rooney's latest podcast. And I tell you what, for someone who kind of picks out former players being pundits and what they say, that was class from Rooney. That's class from Rooney. Genuine from Rooney. That's what it sounded like to me. I'm going to run through his comments. You can tell they came from the perspective of somebody who committed his entire career to Manchester United and can't understand what he's watching. And also from a father's perspective because his two kids are in the academy. I'm going to run through Gary Neville's comments. We're going to have a conversation about Amorim, what's happening next. Hey, look, you can call it the therapy room if you want this morning. I don't know what it's called. But you know what? I'm going to say something here quickly before I actually get started with today's show and I say hello to everybody. I feel a weird sort of calm today. Like the show that we had last week before. Last week was Chelsea. We were buzzing. The week before that was City. And I remember the Monday that we had here. That was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. But I'm coming in here today. And honestly, I don't know if it's... I think I know what it is. I think it feels like I've reached some sort of level of acceptance. That it's just not going to work out. And that's why I feel a little bit calmer. I don't know. I'm just explaining to you how I feel as a United fan this morning. But let me say hello to everybody and let's get on with today's show because there's loads to run through and we've got a full weekend's roundup to do as well. JC, dude, a big up to all of you. This community has kept me sane. I swear to God, if I didn't have this community and all of you guys and girls over these last few years, sod knows where I'd be. Gifting 20. And anybody who asks what a gifted membership is, it's one way for you to support the channel. Everything that gets put there gets put into the memberships, gets reinvested back into the channel and enables me to do bigger and better things for the community, like organising the live shows, like organising the global meetups and all the work for that that's going on behind the scenes. But it's also just your way to just invite someone in. Say, look, come in, be part of it. I know it's sad. I know United are terrible. I know we're constantly in crisis, but we can all suffer together. Call it what you want. Toby, good morning to you as well. Gifting 5 memberships. Who else we got here? We've got Carl, we've got Steph, we've got Josh. You'll be here, no doubt, as always. We've got Dylan, we've got Mr. Men, we've got Rob Taylor, Liam Griffin, Squeezy, and good morning to you. Aftab, we've got Tom Porter, some non-members as well. Mick Houlihan, Kevin Shuttler, we've got Dalron, and we've got Zozam. Good morning to everybody. Let's get on with today's show. Now, I suppose, one thing that, and we are very much clutching at straws, but there's a silver lining to the crapness of the weekend in the results that happened. Well, I think we can all agree that, surely we can all agree that losing Saturday morning is the single worst one you can have. I mean, you might be able to say Friday night, 8 p.m, possibly, because then it bloody ruins your Friday night as well. Yeah, I probably would say Friday. The earlier it is, the worse it is. So losing 3-1 was an absolute crap start to the weekend. But Chelsea losing... Are they lost 3 in a row now? Was it Bayern? Us? Brighton? Don't know. Chelsea lost. Liverpool lost. Leeds drew? Don't care. Spurs? Man, got 94th minute equaliser. Bastards. But they dropped points. Arsenal? I don't really care about what's going on with Arsenal and Liverpool. Fred, good morning to you. I didn't blank you. Just sometimes when I jump through the names, you know what I think. I know you're just taking a piss. So Newcastle dropped points. In that sense, there's a lot of drop points everywhere this weekend. Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, Newcastle. Man, I hate looking at this bloody table. For real, I hate looking at this table. Oh, Eric as well. Good morning to you, dude. Gifting 20, man. I can't wait until... I know you must think I'm just doing this just to wind you up or just permanently leave this carrot lure. I can't wait to show you what we're working on behind the scenes. We've already sent out some surveys. So if you're part of Discord, you might know a little bit, but there's more coming. I only care about Chelsea? Nah. Well, you know full well that I just hate Chelsea. I absolutely despise that football club. And seeing them suffer makes me feel a little bit better. Like, Frogman, this is the only time I'm going to answer anything like this in the chat right now. Like, would you take Xavi as your new United manager? Like, I swear to God, people, where do you get the energy from? Like, where do you get the audacity from to start speaking about, oh, this manager doing this and that coming in there, and this manager, but no, but we need that system here. And you get into like the same. It's like, really, like you've got the energy for that. I can't be like, get stuffed, mate. Go away. And don't mean that in an unpolite way. And it's almost like you're arguing with wind. Like I might just do a video on all of them in general, the Southgate, just pure hot air noise, just stuff designed just to, it's rage bait. It's one of the most commonplace types of content that possibly exists. So many people nibble on it. And then they come at me and ask me if I don't want to get involved in that. You're forcing me to. Someone's going to... Oh, you're joking down there, Sig. Someone's talking about Sam Allardyce. Seriously, somebody will come up with that. Mate. You're saying that you're asking because it's reported that he's keen on the job. Bloody, I'd be keen on the job. Every single man and his nan would be keen on the job. This is what reporters do. What do you mean? United are in crisis. Ooh, it's a free go. Xavi, Glasner, Iraola, Sam Allardyce. What? Eric Ten Hag, back in you go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, throw it in. Fergie, why not? Carrick, yep, throw that in. Anybody else got any names? Anybody got any names? Because they'll all stick. Every single one of them will stick. You get the point. It's at times like this where just pure speculation will become rife and people will gobble it up and people will force conversations that just don't have to be forced, that just don't have to be had right now. Right, let's speak about Conte. Yeah, get Conte. He'll leave Napoli. Yeah, anybody else? Klopp. Somebody wants Klopp. Yeah, come on. Let's get Klopp in too. Zidane, Tony Pulis, all of them. Get them all in. I'm chill. I just find it funny. I just find it funny how quickly people sort of like absorb it. Right. Let me let me run through what's been reported over the weekend. Now, I know this might not be new news to you, but I don't go live 400 times a day. This was reported yesterday from Simon Stone. I'm going to run through what the newspapers have been saying, as I said at the start of the show. We'll start off here with Simon Stone and the BBC, saying, look, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is back in Amorim, feels only fair to judge him on a full season with what he views as the right team. External suggestions of shortlist being drawn up are being dismissed by United's officials, who are adamant no one is being lined up to replace Amorim. Let's see what else is being written in the article itself. United head coach said he was not concerned about his job. Sources insist Ratcliffe is back in Amorim and feels it's only fair to judge on a full season. I mean, really? Multiple suggestions from external sources that shortlists of replacement have been drawn up have been dismissed by United officials who are adamant no one is being lined up to replace Amorim. Now, that in itself, like, yeah, all right, lads. Yeah, sure. Yeah, so Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Chris Favell, Jim Ratcliffe, they're all sitting there going, it's fine. You know the meme? That little dog who's sitting on the swing while it's all burning behind him. Of course they're drawing up these shortlists internally. All right? There's no way they're not. But that's called contingency planning. That's standard business practice. Nevertheless, speculation will continue, of course. Now, you've got Daily Mail saying United reveals stance. Ruben Amorim still has the backing of Ratcliffe despite doubts. That's come from Chris Wheeler as well. And I thought it was important to pull this up here. And this is from Andy Mitten, who, now honestly, when it comes to Man United, I'm not just glazing him, but like Andy Mitten's the person I would listen to the most. Somebody who's committed, 20, 30 years of his life to United we stand, somebody who genuinely cares deeply for the club, who doesn't say things for the sake of saying things. So I think when Andy Mitten here is saying, look, those fans who backed Amorim last season to the point that outsiders were baffled by their loyalty feel conflicted, and most wanted it to work for him, and most now don't think it will. I kind of take note, because it's exactly how I feel. I wouldn't even say I feel conflicted now. And I think that's what I was saying down here at the start of the show. It's not that I feel conflicted. I feel weirdly calm this morning, which might be a hilarious thing for me to say, considering I just had a good old run around with the different managers. But I do. And I think that you got Stephen Ralston here from Manchester Evening News saying that, look, he's being backed. You got Ruben Amorim saying, I'm not concerned about it because it's not my decision. But I gave you my opinion yesterday, right? And I don't need to repeat anything that I've said in that video there. But this morning, you can call it acceptance if you want. After that City game, we came here, I was really, really wounded. Because it's not just that I wanted it to work out for Ruben Amorim. I could see it working out for Ruben Amorim. I could see he was a very, very, very genuine man, which I think goes some way. And I've already said this to you a couple of times. I think the work that's gone on behind the scenes, and not just because of him, but over the last 6 to 8 months in terms of the cultural shifts and the players that have been forced out, I think has helped the club. It's not helped the results. It's not helped the performances. And that will now eventually come round to Ruben Amorim. I've just lost faith in his ability as a manager in a game state, through training, through practice, and through the matches, to bring results now. That's what I've lost faith in. I do not see how anything shifts from losing to Brentford to playing Sunderland. They're probably going to piss me off because the players are probably going to play great. But I can't believe that training for a full week now and having no midweek games is going to help United, because it hasn't helped United. I can't believe that waiting for the right players to be back into the team is going to change it, because we had Šeško, Cunha and Mbeumo, and then we still looked completely inept. I can't really think that in a game situation that Amorim is going to be able to change it, because in particular that Brentford game. Now, I don't know whether this is because I was ignoring it before, and you can let me know what you think about this. But it feels like that Brentford game towards the end, it was always one of the greatest things that Fergie ever always did, throwing the kitchen sink. Throw everything forward, throw everybody forward. And that's what Amorim did to a certain degree against Brentford. But it ended up with Mason Mount at left back. And I think Micah Richards, I might even do a separate video on this week. That's kind of why I'm not putting it up here, because I think it warrants a little bit more than this. As I said, I don't know whether I've been ignoring it from other games or whether it's actually happened more obviously in this Brentford game. But you had Mason Mount coming into attacking midfield. Then a new sub was made, Xerxes, and then he moved over there. And then Yoro moved from right centre-back to left centre-back. And then Dalot shifted from right, and then he shifted over here. And then he shifted, and then we made another sub, and then he shifted. I'm like, what? Huh? You? Where? And I don't know whether it was just that Brentford game, but I was really confused as to who was where at any point. And then another sub was made, and then they all shifted again. Can you let me know? Have I just been ignoring it, or was it more prevalent in that game? I'm going to see what you're saying down here in the chat. Andrew's saying, Sam, what is the actual problem, do you think? I see the players we have should be able to beat Brentford with whatever formation we play. I think that's an absolute given. But, dude, if I had the answer to what the actual problem is, I would save our football club. Because truth be told, there is not an individual problem at United. There never has been an individual problem at United. It is a collection of problems. And when you're putting one fire out, the other fires burn up intensely. And you go over there and you sort that fire. By the time you sorted that fire, 2 other fires are starting. You're like, no matter how many fires you put out of Manchester United, bigger wildfires seem to start somewhere else. So I mean, like, we can talk about cultural things that have happened. Like, the new training ground has definitely made an impact in terms of how players look at Manchester United. And look at all these fires that are still there. More fires. Timmy saying it was the same in the Grimsby game. It probably was the same in the Grimsby game, to be fair. I don't want to speak about that one, though. That game didn't exist. A couple of people sent us some super chats and read these. Chris, you're saying City 3 wins, United 2, yet we are in crisis. Toxic fan base. It just doesn't fly me, man, anymore. No, I know you can. I don't know whether you're just a scouser coming here trying to troll people, but I like to consider myself a level-headed United fan. I'm emotional. Of course we are. We're United fans. Because this headline is just like so bang on from the Athletic. Like, how much more misery can you take? How many more times can you take it that you watch your team win and then lose? Draw, win, and then lose. Win, and then lose. Repeat, 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 repeat. It's got nothing to do with the toxic fan base at this point. I think that's really unfair to... I don't think I've ever come into the chat here. Like, obviously, it's my default, and it will always be my default, and I won't ever apologise for it. I will support a manager until I feel a manager can't be supported. Now, I don't think I've reached that level of sort of disdain towards Amorim. I don't think I will. But I've lost faith in his ability to inspire the change because the players aren't bringing the change. The head coach isn't bringing the change. I don't know where the change comes from. And I don't know how much more misery we can take, but I don't particularly think it's going to change anytime soon. Kevin, you're saying Palace play 3 at the back. Obviously, personnel is part of it. We know that. But you cannot sit here and confidently tell me that Mateta is 10 times the striker that Šeško is. Sure, he's foreign experience, he's Premier League experience, but the game is played around him far more at Palace than it is with Šeško at United. They have Wharton in the middle. They have wing-backs that properly operate like wing-backs. Just the shape is different. You can use the same formation, but it's almost like, this might be a bit of a weird thing to try and say this morning. It's almost like using the words formation and system are different. Like, a formation is a formation, but how you use that formation is a system. How you apply the formation to the game itself. Because on a very, very basic level, the 3-4-3 system can be extremely defensive if you keep your 2 wing-backs back, because then you've got a back 5, and it's like a 5-3-2. Or you can be really aggressive and have those properly operating as wing-backs, holding their width up front, because you've got the confidence in your back line and your midfield to cover that space. And all of a sudden, the 3-4-3 looks really attacking, really aggressive, because the wing-backs really stay forward. Same formation, different system. Now, unfortunately, I'm not tactically knowledgeable enough. Me and the team were talking about it this morning. So we were like, should we do a video on Glasner's 3 at the back system, or 3 at the back Crystal Palace, and compare it to United and try and put it into a bite-sized video so people can understand what the differences are. We might still do that this week, but we'll see. I'm going to go and read some of your comments out before I want to go into the Rooney podcast clip. Tun saying the way the first 2 goals went in, we have a habit of making average players seem world-class. With the Burnley striker and Brentford one, mate, it was such like... And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Keith Andrews. It's just the complete truth. Guy's an utter rookie manager. He's a set-piece coach that came in because Thomas Frank was taken by Spurs and Brentford looked from within for the replacement. So they literally put their set-piece coach in as their manager. Everything prior to this season, Keith Andrews has just been focusing on where do we stand for corners, what do we do at free kicks, and how do we make throw-ons into an advantage. And it's why it pissed me off so much for the game. Hearing Joe Cole and Peter Crouch standing on Discovery going, I don't know why United have trying to defend set pieces so much. It's almost like Brentford have got literally a bloody set piece coach as their manager, and that is going to be how they go at United. Long balls and set pieces. It's exactly what they did. And we knew that. And that's, the thing I will always sympathise with Ruben Amorim about. Like, there's a reason that Maguire and De Ligt started. I know that people were pissed off that Euro didn't start. There is a complete reason for that. Brentford are going to play the high balls. Brentford are going to focus on the set pieces. So you play your two biggest aggressive centre-backs to combat that. It made sense. It's just the application of it made no sense. Maguire was a yard too, trying to play a high line and a yard too short and had no pace to get back. And then, what's his name? Can't remember the name of the Brentford striker. 1 in 1,000 shot. On the run, left foot, hit the outside of his boot, literally went into the postage stamp right in the corner. 1 in 1,000. You couldn't do that again in training for the rest of the year. Goes in against United. Fair play. And then the second one, you will see in the video, like Diogo Dalot, I know what he's doing. Like, he's jumping into midfield, but he's just completely vacating where his position should be. And all of a sudden, they got loads of space. Someone down there talking about Benny McCarthy saying about how players train versus how players play, and it's a big problem, right? There has been a big problem for a long time, United. But this, right? Just have a little listen to this clip if you've not listened to it. This is Wayne Rooney on his podcast, and this is where the clip starts. All day I've been debating saying this.
All day I've been debating this. Do I say this? Shall I say it? Because I know it's going to bring pressure, and it's going to go into media, and it's going to get picked up, and the manager's going to get asked questions about it. But I feel I need to. I care for the club. I was at the football club for 13 years, and what is going on is not right.
Yeah.
And this is not all on the manager, by the way. This is, I'm seeing players not deserving to wear that shirt, and it hurts. When you've been in a football club for that long and you care for the club, this is not acceptable. What is going on? And Man United haven't won back-to-back games for I don't know how long.
Since January.
I think there needs to be a clear message from the owners. Whether that's the Glazers, whether that's Ratcliffe, there has to be a message of where this club is going, because at the minute we're all sitting there waiting for it to crumble.
That bit there that Rooney said at the start, right? That bit there. So all day I've been debating saying this. I cannot tell you how much I relate to that. Now, obviously, my quotes are going to get picked up by Ruben Amorim and picked up by the media and said to Ruben Amorim. So nowhere near, my opinion is nowhere near as important as Rooney's. But I can't tell you how much I relate to that. It's why I titled that video yesterday, I'm sorry, Ruben Amorim. I could have titled that video very, very differently, and you know exactly how I could have titled that video. But I didn't want to. And you saw it in the live show I did yesterday. It's just like, as I said, I feel weirdly strange this morning. I was expecting to wake up in an absolutely sour mood, coming in here, doom and gloom. But on my life, people, there's a level of acceptance to me this morning. And the sort of the pain in his voice there is kind of exactly how I felt yesterday. And that right there is what I would say is former player punditry done correctly. There are ways to say things. There are ways to approach it. Now, when you're working on Sky Sports and you're on Super Sunday and you're working, I swear to God, maybe clipping doesn't come into their minds, but I don't know, man. I appreciated that from Rooney. Someone who clearly, of course he gives it, mate. He gave his whole career to Manchester United. Don't know. I'm gonna. What did you think about Rooney's comments? I'm gonna do a longer reaction video to it at lunchtime today. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. Captain T1, what are you saying? You're saying Amorim's not that guy, unfortunately. If you're that stubborn to alter and change and therefore not willing to adapt and learn, he said the good days are coming. Where are they? I did a video, was it 2 weeks ago? saying this is how Ruben Amorim has to change because he had to, man. He had to tweak. Like, you could clearly see in front of your eyes that the system isn't working, that there had to be tweaks. Don't throw the whole system out. I told you the one I would do, drop the number 9, make him the third midfielder and push the 2 number 10s up so you've got split strikers. Switch it to a 5-3-2. Have 3 in the middle. Give yourself the ability to play out through the middle instead of rinse and repeat. Trying to play out like we do. Give it to Delo or give it to Shaw. Ball goes over the top. Can Šeško hold it? Sometimes he can. Sometimes he can't. Then you can play. That's the only way that United are progressing the ball forward. Other than that, and long kicks from Bayern into the ideally Mbumo or Cunha. That's all we can do right now. Because you can't play through the middle because you've only got 2 there and you get outnumbered all the time. Aiden is saying he is right. Shaw, Maguire and Bruno are the key denominator for 3 to 4 managers. They all have to go. Sorry for Bruno fans. Dude, you play Bruno in a deep central midfield position and you ask Bruno to dedicate the majority of his game to receiving the ball from his goalkeeper and turning around and trying to create from deep when nobody is near you, you're going to get sweet FA out of Bruno. You really are. And that's probably part of the reason he missed a penalty, because he's pent up. Bruno is an emotional player, always has been. We have taken... Can you just... I'm going to keep like repeating this. We have taken the number 1 creator in the entire Premier League, not top 10, not top 20, the single best creator of all chances in the Premier League in the last 3 to 4 years, and we've asked him to play deeper central midfield. Just say that. Just say that in your head. Put that into another team. City, in De Bruyne when he was flying. Mate, can you just play as like a third centre? Can you play like the central centre-back? Like, I know you're great going forward, and I know you're great at creating chances, but can you just play there instead? And now you get this level of just crap from Bruno. Because it is crap from Bruno. And that's what happens when you're playing Bruno that far away from his best position. Canal, like, if you want to troll down there, you're not going to get a response. So you can go, just shout yourself in the corner, mate. Cody's saying, it's a little bit more on that Rooney stuff, right? Like this here. It's talking about, what's the name of his other kid? His other lad. Kai Rooney's with the under-18s. I can't remember the name of the other lad. I think he's with United's under-15s, under-16s. If I'm being completely honest, I can't have as much confidence about the setup, our academy setup now, because, of course, Nick Cox has left and Adam Lawrence has left. But the under-18s, they lost their first game this weekend, lost 4-2 to City. I think they were 2-0 up as well. They got a red card in that game. JJ Gabriel scored again. Our academy teams have been... I have to ring me during the show. Our academy teams have been pretty fantastic, all things considered, over these last few years. Like winning the treble 2 years ago, the condition of the under-18s, they're flying right now, and that's the team that Kai is in. Darren Fletcher's doing a really good job. And I don't particularly feel that what's happening with the first team is affecting those younger ages. I actually feel our academy is in a safe enough position. But it's all kind of part and parcel of why Rooney is so concerned. Because not only is the soul gone from the Man United that he committed his whole career to, the soul has gone from the Man United that he would love his kids to be able to experience the same sort of glory that he was able to experience. I think he realises that's not going to be possible. There's no way we're going to be having that again. No way we're going to have a manager that won 13 Premier Leagues. How many Prems did Rooney win? Is it 6? Is it 5? 5 or 6, I think. Let me see what else you're saying down here. Academy does not have the same pressure. It's not. It's just kind of my point here is I think that what's happening with the first team doesn't necessarily like trickle down into the academy teams. Like over the last few years, the academy's just been consistently going up in the complete opposite trajectory to the first team. Renault, you're saying captain hindsight here, but the squad building to end up with our 3 best players as number 10 is poor. Dude, it's not captain hindsight. I think you all know that I wanted United to sign another central midfielder instead of Šeško. But in that sense, then it still was poor squad building because then the 2 best players you brought in are 2 number 10s. And then your best player in the current squad is a number 10. So then you still have 3 number 10s for 2 positions. The strategy from Ineos this summer was to bring in as many goals as possible to Manchester United and for United to be free-flowing with goals. Now, we're not going to control games, but as long as we score 2, 3, 4 goals a game, we're going to be winning games of football. That was the logic. That was the strategy. That was the approach. It has not worked. United are not scoring enough to glaze over the problems that exist. In their mind, because you couldn't do everything in one summer. They actually tried to get Baleba in as well, but that would have been a bit crazy. Obviously, they couldn't afford it. In their minds, Wilcox and Brada and Ratcliffe and the strategy, their mind was, as long as we bring in enough goals this year, you can probably paper over some of the cracks and give ourselves enough time and Ruben Amorim enough time with the results that we're going to get as a consequence to then go out and buy the central midfielder that we need next year. And that's when we actually step up. And remember that Ruben Amorim was the one who wanted an athletic midfielder, and it was actually Jason Wilcox who pushed forward for the number 9 and said, no, this is actually what we need. So it was the vision of the club that overrode the vision of what the manager wanted. That's true. Tatenda, Sam, you have lost the plot, dude. You sound like Mark and every other United fan. There is nobody called Mark. There is a man called Brent, and his name is Brent, and that is all he is. What do you mean? How am I losing the plot? I'm just explaining to you everything I'm feeling as a United fan and how relatable that those comments were from Rooney. And you're saying, whilst that's true, we also got beat under Ten Hag with a midfield 3-2. Why? Because we're not a cohesive unit. Hey, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that if United were playing with a midfield 3, we'd have no problems. Because we probably would. Let's be honest. We'd find other problems. The problem is not just the formula. If I was looking at that game against Brentford and I was to rewatch it again, which I'm absolutely not going to bloody do, right? We didn't concede the first 2 goals because we had a midfield 2 or because we were playing 3 at the back. We conceded the first 2 goals because our players were absolute whoppers. Like, just whoppers. Maguire got caught out 1 yard too deep. The offside trap doesn't work. The whole rest of the team is in their half. Oh, well done, lads. I've got the pace to get back now. Boom. 1 in 1,000 shot. Second goal. Awful defending. Again, long ball over the top. Every set piece. We couldn't get near them. Milan, you're saying, why doesn't he play Mainu? It's that game against Brentford for me was properly one where I think he got the starting 11 wrong on paper. I think Yoro should have been in the start. The subs that he made on the 60th minute-ish should have been the players that started. Yoro should have been starting that game, I would argue, ahead of Maguire. You could actually, possibly if you want to, you could argue ahead of Shaw. It's either one of the two. Well, you could probably argue both of them, I suppose. But Yoro should have started that game, and so should Cobby. Like, when you take a step back and you think, right, so I understand why you haven't Ugarte in the team to a certain degree. Might not agree with it, but I understand it to a certain degree. You know, being good out of possession, being able to bring the ball back, being able to pressure, blah, 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 blah. But then if your deepest man is Bruno, and he's the one who's receiving the ball from the centre-backs, and he turns around and he's got to give the ball to Ugarte to progress it. Ugarte can't progress it. That's not Ugarte's game. It's just not. So it just kind of makes no sense to play a system where you've got Bruno and Ugarte, and then Bruno's deeper than Ugarte. Because you're never ever going to get central progression there. Yeah, De Ligt was poor. Everyone was poor. That's what I mean. Like all the positive things that we saw against Chelsea, we go, oh yeah, nice. We've had a week's full training. Everyone's G'd up for it. Boom. May as well have been a completely different team. 4 months after the fact. Not the exact same team 1 week after that performance. That's how little connection there was between the two performances. And that's kind of part of the reason I lost it as well. I was so angry at that. Like, piss off, lads, man. The exact same thing I praised you for last week doesn't exist this week. How does that happen in the space of a week when you've had no games and just trained? How is it? I know it's all up there, but I can't explain to you what the bloody solution is. David is saying we have 4-2-3-1 PTSD because of Ten Hag. No, just Amorim's loyal to his system, which quite simply isn't working. I think we've got enough evidence of that now. Play a new goal. Like, put someone down there saying, oh, Cobby was at fault for the third goal. You mean the third goal we were chasing the game in the 92nd minute? Like, cool. All right. Do that if you want, mate. But what else are you supposed to be doing? Everyone has to... You'd much rather lose a game 3-1 than lose a game 2-1 and just not try anything. You're probably going to get hit on the counter. It's exactly what happened. They took advantage. Binder should have saved it. I don't know what he was doing. Kind of dove out the way of the ball. But in that game, I don't particularly think Binder was that... Like, Binder made some decent saves. I didn't come out of that game thinking, he's made such a mistake not starting Senny Lamons. Could he have made a difference? Maybe. But I think the issues were far bigger than the goalkeeper against Brentford, if I'm being completely honest. Captain, again, you're saying Bruno Fernandes is the embodiment of United right now, running around, putting out fires, just doing too much, producing crap quality. I don't think you will ever see a better example of a player doing too much. Which sounds like a really weird thing to say. From, you just want to see United players working hard, you want to see them giving everything for the shirt. But you can do too much. Sometimes the smartest thing to do in football is to stand still. Which kind of sounds counterintuitive. But if the game is moving around you that much, and you can use the judgment of it, then standing still can sometimes be your best friend. Bruno's proved now, beyond question, that the positional discipline is not going to be something that sticks in his game. I think Bruno's very reflective of this Manchester United team, because you'll see a game where he actually does it very well. He'd be like, okay, go on then. And then another game comes and it's just completely out the window. It's exactly what Manchester United are. Capable of playing really bloody well in a deeper role. Capable, United, of playing a really good game. Once. Then the next week, nope. From week to week, there's no consistency. And that's why I lost faith in it. This was, I did not think it was going to be the Brentford game that sort of broke my faith, but it turns out it was. But everything we're seeing now, and I actually want to get your opinion on this. Going back to speaking about Ruben Amorim, like, you can't... Toby, thank you again for gifting 5 memberships. Actually, let me read some of your comments out down here before I want to go back and open the floor up and hear your views on the Amorim situation. Paul, you're saying game could have been so different if VAR got the red card. It could have been, man. And it should have been, because how many times do I have to come here and just say how crap VAR is? And it's not even a red-tinted specs decision, man. Oh, the player wasn't in control of the ball. That's not even written in the Premier League rules, man. You're making it up on the spot. You have no idea what the rules are. And you literally just whimsically choose what they are, when they are, because you feel like it. It's the worst system I've ever... How have you made something that seems so good in the World Cup? You know, the like automated offsides and stuff. How have they made it that bad? It's beyond belief. It's like they're actively spiking it. Should have been a red card. And also, Can I say this? Why on earth would Why on earth would Brentford allow to make subs at the end of like a 3-4 minute VAR penalty wait? Man, I tell you, again, you're just purely taking the piss. And we saw with the Bruno penalty against Fulham, Bruno's almost like an electric charge. Like if you touch him, you'll get like a reaction. That's just where his mind is at in a game state. He's so affected. It's basically like if you pulled like a top red out of the away end that somehow was fit enough to play football, and you put them in a United shirt, emotionally they play like Bruno does. Heart on his sleeve, right on the edge, but to the point where being on the edge isn't your friend. And that's where I understand people's criticisms of him as a captain. A captain should be able to be almost detached. Like, oh, can I say big up to Europe yesterday? Man, the Ryder Cup was good. Sunday should have been better. But from an entertainment perspective, I loved watching that. And I needed a little bit of sporting enjoyment this weekend. Liverpool losing as well, and Chelsea, and Spurs dropping points, and Newcastle losing as well. So it wasn't awful, but you're blaming the ref now. Yeah, good. It's nice to see you can come here and have a nice adult chat there. If you want to be a child, go back and eat some crayons. Let's see what else is down there. Yeah, it's kind of the point I'm making there about Bruno. It's captains have to be, as I said, detached, emotionally immune to the waves of a football game. Saying that, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Like Keane wasn't immune to the emotions of a football game, but he was in control of them. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. Because we can't all of a sudden pretend that a captain shouldn't be emotional when all of us, pretty much all of us, would say our best ever captain was Roy Keane. Anger is an emotion. He just was in control of it. That's the problem. Bruno lets his emotions control him rather than the other way around. And that's what affects the game state for him. Ernest, what are you saying? How is it that the only thing the media saw against Brentford was wrong, that was formation? I can list a lot of things before blaming the formation. It's the easy. Nathan, you're saying that it's the easiest thing to go after. I mean, they're not wrong, right? A formation is a problem. But we reached that point again, ladies and gents. Sit down, strap yourselves in. Please keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle, because we are going down the path where we are going to be saying, is it the players? Oh, is it the manager? Oh, is it the owners? It's always a fun day. Is it this? We need to reset this football club. We need a cultural... It's not even been 12 months since Ruben Amorim came in. Boy, this club breaks people. And people break themselves as well, by the way. Ruben Amorim had a system that worked in Portugal. He's now lost more games as United manager. Was it 33 games he's been in? No, I can't remember what it is. Is it 17 games he's lost in 33? I think something like that. He's already lost more here than he did at Sporting ever. In like 167 games. What do you think happens next? Now, I know it's been widely reported, and the sort of speculation is there, that if Ineos were to sack Ruben Amorim in the first year of his contract, so up until November the 1st, that he would get a 12 million payoff. And that if they don't do it then on the 2nd of November, whatever that is, I think 1st of November was when he was announced, then that reduces after year one. Might happen. Might not. But what do you actually think will happen? Because as it stands, as far as we're hearing anyway, Ratcliffe and Ineos, they're not budging. They're not shifting. Teddy is saying, I have no idea how you're still level-headed. I'll be honest, I don't particularly feel that much. I certainly haven't been level-headed over the weekend. I was fuming after the game. It's the match reactions, man. They always capture that emotion, I suppose. It's raw, it's fresh, and it's immediate. Yesterday, I was a bit more down in the dumps, I suppose. I came on here and I was like, I don't know what to say. But today, I've said it a couple of times. I'll say it again. I feel a strange level of calmness today. I think it must be acceptance. It must be acceptance. Right, let me see what you're saying down here. Alex is saying, I don't think he'll be sacked yet, but the November international break is the gauntlet. Man, I looked at the fixtures. Jeez, remember we looked at this last time? It was Liverpool. It was Brighton. Who else was it? Forest away, I think it was. There's one more in there. Yeah, Abaku, man, no 2 wins in a row is nuts. That really, really is nuts. Pyramid down there saying Ruben needs that payout. That dude's... I signed the contract, I'd want that payout. If you signed the contract, you'd want that payout. It just so happens to be that the people, the institution that's doing that payout is the club that we support. It's the club that we love. But of course, it would suit our football club if we didn't have to do that payout. But you know full well that you wouldn't do it. I know full well that I wouldn't do it. Issue is for Ruben, he's already said a couple of times that he would walk. So he's kind of, again, given a rod for his own back there. Would you consider doing a non-United live show, says Christos? It's a fair enough question. I could do, but I promise you I would not be able to cover United in as much depth, with as much accuracy, or with as much quality as I do now. It would be me spreading it like... And I really mean this in as polite a way possible. I do not give a toss about Arsenal. I do not give a crap about Chelsea or Liverpool or City. And the idea of me committing some of my time to talking about them, like, screw them. I want to kind of talk through United's problems, try and speak about potential solutions. We've got so much going on in our own house, man. I haven't got time to speak about anyone else. And nor do I want to, really. So, in answer to your question, no. The only time I'd ever really talk about other teams is after a Premier League weekend, we can run through the results. But I'd much rather we spend our time talking about United. Talking through the problems, answering your questions. I try to engage with as many of you as I possibly can. It's not always easy, man. I'm going back to this again there. I don't know the answer to that question. But I'll tell you what, Man United is certainly making up for the fact that we were all able to enjoy our childhoods. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what, back to the question there about would you do a stream about not about United? Once we've got everything in place, I promise you, I'm been so bad at doing this, doing extra content for members only. That's where you can properly do a Q&A. You can ask me, I don't know, what I ate for food yesterday. What's my favourite gym exercise? Stuff like that. Sort of like not even uncensored, just away from the camera. Behind the lens, whatever you want to call it. I'd love to do that sort of stuff and become a little bit closer to all of you as a community and the members and the core members. Rev, you're saying, Sam, what would a successful full season look like? You know what our goal was this season. We'll go back to this. It was top 6, which is all completely still... We're only 6 games into the bloody season, right? There's no way anybody's writing this season off. It's just that I can't look at this team now and go, I know exactly how we're going to close that 4-point gap, and I feel confident about it. I don't anymore. We're going into that game against Sunderland, and I'm scared to play Sunderland. I'm scared to play Sunderland. Just imagine. Imagine saying that. It's the first season back in the Prem for how long for Sunderland? I don't know. No idea. I mean, they did pretty They did pretty well in the summer, but I'm scared of Sunderland at Old Trafford. Like, you kidding me? If I think that, these players will be thinking it. Pyro saying, hard question, Sam, but where do you think we're going to finish? As it stands, dude, we're going to be chasing top half of the table. We're chasing 10th. As it stands. We're fully a mid to lower table club. I know people love speaking about relegation, speaking about Manchester United. It's just not going to happen. There will always be 3 teams worse than Manchester United somehow. Right now, we all know Wolves are going down. So Wolves are gone. Wolves are gone. What's going to happen with Nuno and West Ham? Will it work? It might work. I hope it doesn't. But I think they'll go down. Do I think West Ham will go down? I think Villa are going to really struggle. I know Villa, they get a win this weekend? They get a draw. Don't know. Maybe there aren't 3 teams worse than United. I don't know. But yeah, 10th is probably where I'm going to say right now. Perry, you're saying living in Australia, having to wake up to watch this club is getting exhausting. I want to back Amorim badly, and I still don't think it's entirely on him. But what has to give at this point? I think kind of that pretty much sums it up, dude. Like, I know, and this is what I said in that video yesterday. This is where I'm at as a United fan. I don't have faith in Ruben Amorim to be able to inspire the momentum that this team so desperately needs, because as soon as United can win 2, maybe 3, 3 games in a row, everything else will just feel a little bit easier. The environment of living on the edge of each result is making everything far, far more difficult. Because circumstances change things. Shane Lowry taking that putt on the 18th. If it was a regular Sunday, he's on his own, make it all day. If it was a normal PGA Tour, make it normally. But that putt to win the Ryder Cup, he was crapping himself. Still made it though, by the way. Big up Shane Lowry. But circumstances change how easy things are. But I don't believe now, I don't have faith that Ruben Amorim is going to be able to inspire the change and to build that momentum. So if I feel like that, and then I look at the other side, and I've got absolutely no faith in the idea that replacing Ruben Amorim and bringing in a new manager will bring about the change that we will need. I've got no faith in what we've got. I've got no faith in what we could have. And I don't know where to turn. That's where I'm at as a United fan. And that's why that video from Rooney sort of hit home, I suppose. He's just one of us. SK saying, I will start judging this man only after he's given what he demands. Screw that, man. Screw that. I don't want Manchester United to ever have a manager that they bring in ever again and go, what do you want? We'll sign it all for you. That exact approach is what gave us such a horrendous squad for so long that's so mishmashed. It's like Frankenstein of a squad. Screw that. Vision of a football club. You hold that firm and hold it true. You sign players for it, and you get the coaches who are appropriate to slot into it. It's just that the Ineos strategy of signing all the forwards and bringing attacking football to Manchester United, the DNA, the free-flowing football, it's just not worked. We're not scoring enough goals. But yeah, no chance would I ever want United to get a manager in now and go, what do you want? Who do you want? Let's sign it all for you. Just for you. Because then if it doesn't work out with him, you're up shit creek. And we've done that too many times before. Look. Thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you all for your comments, all for your super chats. I like to think that you can have a conversation with me here. Like, I don't always agree with you. If you're a dick, I'll be a dick back to you. Right? That's fair game. I know we'll disagree sometimes, but it seems like Ineos currently backing Amorim. I don't know what changes. I can't give you a tactical solution. There is no tactical solution apart from kind of tweaking, which apparently is not going to happen. I'll be here all week, as always, Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. Lunchtime video today is going to be a little bit more detail on the Rooney video, a couple more clips, and just a conversation around that. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy, everyone.